I'm gonna do it. America. It is I, Jay Sims the Lion, and we are back. It's Thursday night. We are here for another episode of the Book Study on the Book of Man. And this we got going for y'all tonight. I want to welcome in all of the people in all the ages, the old people, the young people, the in-betweens, the middles, the little kids, the big kids, and everybody else in between. Welcome to another episode. Got myself, Jay Sims the Lion. What's going on, Doc?
Man, what is happening, bro? What is happening? I'm glad to be here. But before we do any of that, you already know what time it is.
Now give me my theme music.
Yeah. Y'all know what it is?
Oh, yeah.
OG in the building.
OG is in the building as always. One of the founding members of the Book of Man.
Yes,
always
sir.
Here. But man, I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here. I'm ready to go. People excited about what we got going on today.
Well, let's get our little homework out the way, Doc.
All right, let's go ahead and get the housekeeping out the way. Number one, if you want to interact with us during this show, it's a highly interactive show if you choose for it to be that way. First thing you can do is drop a comment down in the comment section of whatever stream you're watching. You put the comment in there. We'll throw it up on the screen and we'll go ahead and talk about it. So good way to interact. Now, a more intrusive, more interactive way is to click the link above in the description. Once you click that link, you can come on with us. You can be the third party. We can have a fourth party. It's not limited to one. We can have up to 20 of y'all on here at a time. So come on with us. You can talk about it. You can stick with us if you want to throughout the whole show, or you can jump in, say your piece, and jump out. That's good too. And all I got to do is be able to see your camera at the bottom in the green room. Once you click the link, once you come on, you can turn your camera back off. You just want your voice or however you want to do it. So we are there. We are here with the book study ready to go. So that's it.
Yes, sir. All right. So, Doc, last week we got into some chapters trying to help us out on how to deal with these relationships. And
yeah,
it looks
good,
like
man.
we're moving further into that realm, trying to give the fellas some tips on how to handle these women.
Yeah. The last one, about praising her, how to get her to do positive things for herself and how to get her to do what you need her to do. Mm-hmm. And, they don't work like us. We work differently. Praise is the way to go.
Yes, sir. That's
so he broke that down. But this time, all right, we're in chapter 18. This is important. It says, now this is part 2. Part 1 was all about the men, how you need to be finding your purpose and your goals. This is part 2. And it says tolerating her leads to resenting her.
Yeah. See, that's we got to have to explain that one. We got to break that one down for the people.
Yeah. I mean, but think about it, man. I mean, you create your own resentment. But let's go ahead and read that intro. I ended up highlighting like almost all of this because it was all important. A man gets resentful and frustrated with his woman when he is too afraid, weak, or unskilled to penetrate her moods and test into love. So that means that you ain't pretty good, at doing that. He wishes she were easier to deal with, but it's not entirely her fault that she is like that. It's also a reflection of her lack of being penetrated by love. So you don't love her enough. So she keep acting up. When a man resigns and simply tolerates his woman's self-destructive moods, it's a sign of his weakness. So when you just say, man, forget it. You know what? I'm just going to sign out. I'm here, but I ain't here.
Yeah.
His attitude has become one of wanting to escape women and the world rather than wanting to serve women and the world into love. So you want to get away from it because you'd have had enough. It's a lot of people like that.
I have been there. Been there. Ran for the hills.
I'm done. What they call them? They go monk mode. They go monk mode. They go monk mode and they done with it.
You just be done with it.
And he shouldn't tolerate those attitudes and moodiness in this woman, but he should serve her and love her with every ounce of his skill and perseverance. Then he go on to talk about if she don't really get with that program, might be time to go.
I think we as individuals all have different levels of skill in the arena of relationships.
Right.
And I think when you get to the point in a relationship where you've maxed out your particular skill set, if you can say, I've done everything I know how to do or everything I'm willing to do.
Right.
That's when I can understand when you got to get to the point where you got to get out of there, which I've been there, or at least I thought I was there.
I mean, we've all had that part, even if we decide to get out of there or we decide to stay there, we've been there. But let me tell you how tricky this is. And I mean, you may have this skill, you may have these techniques to kind of navigate the mood swings and all of that stuff. But come on, man. Every rock can get wore down by a drop of water if it hit it enough times.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just.
Well, that's why I said willing.
Yeah.
I'm no longer willing to do this.
Exactly. But then look at this also. Remember in the last couple chapters where we talked about her moods, that she's not a liar. She just saying how she feel right then. So this stuff will keep on going, but he mentioned that in the first part of the book too. Like, don't expect it to end. Don't expect it to end. It's going to keep on going.
That's a lot though. Mm-hmm. That's a lot to know.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, no matter how hard I work, I ain't never gonna graduate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna pass.
Hey, you know what though? You're gonna graduate if you feel like it, and then you get to fail again right after that and go back to where you started. Look at that. So OG said that sounds like a rush in the relationship. You have to have time to feel them out. Yeah, that's true. But you know what though? And I mean, I know you're married, and I've been married, going on 20 years myself. And there's times when I just be like, man, I'm done. I mean, I'm not gonna leave. I love her, but I ain't gonna be trying to help him do a whole bunch of stuff either.
Yeah. So
that's what he's saying. Like this, don't like giving up, and just whatever happened gonna happen.
Right.
And so James, go ahead, man. No, I'm just gonna read James.
You're doing both parties a disservice when you get to the point of, I think you do better just go ahead and leave and get to that point of I ain't even gonna try no more. I'm just out.
And I guess we have to look at too, this book is written for men or men with people with masculine energy. Mm-hmm. And it's not talking about the other part of it, like what they have to do. Because a lot of men's spaces now, we talk a lot about what the women got to do and what's going on. So this kind of really focusing on what we can do.
Right.
Me go over here first. OG say 19 years in love and they're good and bad. Hey, we got married about the same year, brother. So we right there. We right on it. Now James in the house, man. Look, glad to see you here, James. He said she's going to find different ways to test you. Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes. And that is aggravating.
Yeah.
That can get very aggravating. It's like, well, damn, I got the house, I got the car, we got the kids, we doing all right, we living good, blah, blah, blah. We done took care of all of that. You still got something, you still got problems?
Oh, yeah. But then you know what though? But what he said though, I mean, and that chapter made me understand stuff a little better. The way he put it. And he was saying that she do that because she wants to feel your masculinity, feel your strength. I mean, now, do it make sense? Not to me, but to them, it makes sense. So it's kind of like you testing somebody gangster because you like seeing they gangster.
Yeah, that's what it's
I like seeing you strong. So I'm going to give you a reason to do it so I can see it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I kind of see that because it's like natural. It's not a put on. It's real.
I agree. It's still aggravating. Don't change it.
Oh, it is. Hey. And again, yeah, it is. It is. OG said we can test them mentally as well. Yeah, that's true. We can. And I guess that's what the last chapter talked about too, with the praise and how to change them behaviors. So,
Yeah.
well, this is crazy.
I'm gonna go. The tolerating her leads to resenting her. Yes, I agree with that. I have absolutely done that in a relationship. Hung around longer than I should have, and literally tried to tolerate. My entire plan was, can I tolerate this until my children are adults?
Yep.
Like that was literally my plan.
Yeah. Or they say, you know what, tolerate it until something change, and then you try to make stuff change by changing them. And what this book's saying is that you can't change anybody else. You can only change you and how you outview the world. AS say sound like something a man would write. Well, they did. But it's funny how these chapters, though, they start off this way, but the way that he kind of bring it back around is always enlightening. I like that. So he said here, whew, this is the big one. Dang, it's a lot. If you like most men, you'll probably end up feeling burdened by your woman's mood.
Yes.
You feel your woman is a pain in the you know what. Now he wrote you know what in the book, but I ain't gonna say it because I'm on my channel and I got some of my church folks.
I'm gonna say pain in the ass. I'm gonna say it, Doc. I'm not in the church.
Yeah, but they watching me, man. I'm trying to preserve it. Trying to preserve it.
Listen, I'm Doc's. I'm Doc's anger translator, so don't worry about it. I slide in the same stuff.
But he say here, you wish a woman would leave you alone and take care of herself. Eventually, you feel worn down and frustrated. You end up simply tolerating your woman's moods while resentment builds inside of you. You wonder what's her problem. Why can't she just be happy? So there you go. AS say women's moods aren't some call to your testosterone.
Agreed. AS. And he actually talks about that in the book. He talks about not approaching it the way a man would approach it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He also said the feminine part of your woman is either opening and loving surrender, that's the easy moments, or closing in what ends up being an emotional test of your capacity to open her, so to get her back to neutral. The cycle of feminine is like all cycles in nature. It never ends. The sooner you learn to embrace and dance with these moods of closure, the sooner both of you will grow beyond psychodrama and see the humor in the play. So pretty much he's telling you, this is how it is. She like that. So either you can accept her and that's the way she is, and don't try to change her, but try to deal with those moods as they come. Or you don't, and just know it's going to be easy times and tough times.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. And once again, it goes back to what I said before, willing.
Yeah.
Capable, because sometimes some people are willing and not capable, and some people are capable and not willing.
Yeah.
And in the worst cases, the person isn't capable or willing.
But all right, I just had this thought. Now look at this thing. There's nothing worse than seeing a man who'd have been beat down by life. We all done saw him. Matter of fact, most of us here have been him. Beat down by life and everything. And what this author is talking about is a way how at least not to let that relationship with the person you say you love beat you down. Because honestly, we can't change other people. We can only change ourselves, and we can change the world through our influence, but that take a while. So you can only change yourself. You got to know this is what it is. This how it works. But he's giving you tools how to deal with it.
And yes, he absolutely does give you some tools to how to deal with it. And I personally, like the first time I went through this book, I recognized a lot of things that were counter to my natural reaction or natural instincts.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the case for a lot of men. And I think the men who have the, I don't know if the word is best or the most quality
Mhm.
relationships are the men who can let go of those natural impulses and try to find the
Mhm. Yeah.
that that
Not
that balance to
or
interact.
hey, so it's like not reacting off instinct, but reacting from training.
Right,
That training take over. It's kind of
right,
like, the people that work in the warehouse, we all know that because I think we've all worked there at some point. And they tell you if you're in the warehouse and stuff is falling down around you, do not get out that forklift.
right,
Don't run. Stay there.
right.
Same thing. When this stuff is falling down around you, don't run because you'll get hurt. There you go. There's no relationship worth getting beat down. You have to pay attention to the signs. Um,
I agree. I agree with that.
mhm.
I agree with that. I think you have to, like they said, figure out: am I at my limit? And can I
Well,
stay? Can we figure this thing out?
mm,
Or is it time for me to get out of here for my mental health and hers?
well, all right. There's another aspect to that, and this is something. And I hope we might cover this book eventually. Called "No More Mr. Nice Guy."
Mm-hmm.
There's one part of that book that always stuck with me, and this has something to do with this. He had a part in the book where he talked about unspoken contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And what an unspoken contract is a expectation you have of your spouse or significant other that they don't know about. I mean, it could be small things. So if you have this unspoken contract and you feel like she ain't doing it, she ain't doing certain things you never told her, but she ain't doing it,
Right.
and you feel like you're getting beat down, but it's your own creation,
Yeah. That
and that
definitely
can
happens.
happen. Hmm.
That definitely happens. I can say I've done that before.
Oh yeah, man,
You ever say that?
unspoken contracts, of
And
course.
I think it comes from we all are looking for whatever reason for people to just give us something we're looking for, and we feel like, oh, that's the sign that they're a good partner because they just knew what I meant. They just knew what I
Yeah.
needed,
Hmm.
and that's realistically that's bullshit.
Hmm.
Like there are some characteristics you can look for to determine whether or not this person to be a good partner for you, but you can't wait on a specific action, not to just happen, or for them to just do a specific action, and you just know, oh,
Hmm.
that's the thing. Now, I personally have been in a situation where an action occurred, and I didn't know that was the thing I was missing
Right.
until it
Right.
happened, and I was like, oh, that's what I was holding back on. That's
Hmm.
why I wasn't sure about this thing, or whatever. And then it happened, and it made you feel like, oh, okay, all right, this can be what I thought it was.
Right.
So, but I don't think you can sit and wait for that, knowing exactly what you want,
Hmm.
and just expect them to know what you want.
Exactly. And that's how some people beat themselves down.
Right,
OG said you have to treat people the way they treat you. Treat others how you want to be treated. In a sense. But there's one thing to that though. And that goes back. There's another book about the 5 love languages. That I
right,
think about that. And how and what opened my eyes to that, and I see it in play, is that people recognize good gestures and love in different ways.
right,
But people, when you treat others how you want to be treated, you show love the way that you know love to be. For
right,
example, if you're a person who like gifts, then for the person you love, you're gonna buy them gifts all the time.
right.
But they may not like gifts.
Don't care nothing about them gifts,
But I think what OG's really talking about though is respect. I think he's talking about respect.
which
And
which we which we know for us is vitally important as men.
Mhm. And the good and the bad thing is that we have different definitions of it. As men, we know our definition of respect is big. It's a lot of stuff.
Right,
To them, it's kind of like I didn't cuss you out and I ain't called you out your name. Because to them, that's respecting them
right,
when you refer to them like that.
right.
So that's one of those big things, man. So he says, Oh, go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. Finish. Go ahead. Go
So,
ahead.
and it's a short chapter, actually, about done.
Yeah.
And I see one of these things he talked about. He says there are creative ways to deal with her moods and help her to open. And he talking about tickling her, dancing with, doing silly stuff. This to kind of shift that mindset. And people do that, do it all the time. I mean, they might say something silly, some kind of dumb somethings, and they start laughing, and they can't be mad and doing all this here wavering. They're laughing because you got in the mood where you want it to be.
Right.
So here's the big part. If you find yourself merely tolerating this feminine mood cycle because you have been frustrated by endless discussions that go nowhere, you can be sure that you and probably your woman are building up resentment toward each other. Do not tolerate her mood, and don't talk about it with her. Participate in it. Bloom her into fullness. So I like what he said about participate in it. Think about it now.
That's where I falter.
Yeah. In the context of what? Oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah, in the context of what he's talking about, that is where I falter.
Yeah.
I'm not participating in it. I'm the dude that'll be like, oh, you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. And I can know you really ain't fine. I'm gonna walk out the room and go jump on the game in another room. I'm not about to sit in there and be sitting there while you soaking and don't want to talk and all that. I know that about myself. I'm out of there.
And you know what? You don't have to do that every time. You don't. And it's okay to step away for a minute. That's cool. You can do that. But I guess when it gets to the point where this happening all the time, and you said something about doing when you've done everything you can do. This is everything you can do.
Right.
He putting that up there. So once you done did all that, I done try to talk you through it. I done try to do all this stuff, try to distract you from it, and you still tripping, then it might be time to think again.
Right.
So any final words on that one, man? That was a short chapter. It was only like a page and a half.
No, I think that chapter pretty easy, man. If it's there, man, be active. Try to get involved and see what's going on with it. But at the same time, don't don't let it beat you down. At some point, you got to say, hey, look, we either getting past this or we getting out.
And OG coming with the fire again. You don't have to do it every time, but if you love them, you will interact. And you know what? And that's true. There's a point, like when you choose that person and you say, okay, I'm with you, for the duration. I'm doing that. And they going through a time. You got to try to make it through that. On my personal note, I tell you, I've been married almost 20 years. And there was a time, probably about 2015, 14, stuff got rough, man. And it all came from, my wife's cousin passed away suddenly on Christmas Eve. And this cousin was like a sister to her. And it messed her up. It messed her up bad. So I, tried to get her through it. And you know how long it took? 5 years. She was struggling for 5 years.
Lost a piece of herself.
It's still kind of rough, but it's a lot better. But 5 years, man. But within myself, I tried to, do the things in the book and do stuff like that. And that's kind of what led me to this part, that time in my life. But to me, I said, you know what? I made the vow before God. I told God, all right, this is what I'm doing. I'm cleaving to this person. So this is what I'm doing. Now, what if the shoe were reversed? What if it was me going through that? I would be tripping if all of a sudden she just up and left. I had a hard time one time and you dip.
Right.
So, you had to do that. All right, let's move on. Can't get my light right. I changed my background again. I keep switching stuff up. I can't be still.
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with that. We out here trying to make it happen.
All right. Chapter 19. Do not I had to use academic speech because in academics, you don't use contractions. Do not analyze your woman. I like this one. This one helped me to understand some stuff.
Another failure for me. I analyze everything.
Man, you know what? I'd say you can analyze it. It depends on how you act on it. That's the whole thing. That's how you act on it. I can't help it. I'm highly analytical. I can't help it.
Analyze, overanalyze, come back, reanalyze.
That's what we do. And you know what? I'm glad you said that because that's what this chapter talking about. Say feminine moods and opinions are like weather patterns. They're constantly changing, severe. They're constantly changing. They can be severe and gentle, and they have no single source. No analysis will work. There's no linear chain of cause and effect that can lead to the center of the problem. There is no problem. They can't lead to the problem because it's no problem. Only a storm, a breeze, a sudden change in the weather. OG said he was about to say that.
Can't do it.
But that's what I'm saying. So trying to figure them out, it's like trying to rationalize with irrational people.
Yep.
You know, you can't do it.
It's a struggle.
You can't do it. And you won't understand. This is what helped me. Knowing that the mood's going to swing like the ocean and like the wind. It's not going to be still like mine. And I think that's I guess getting into the creationism, it's a blessing and a curse. I think they were created to be able to adapt to these things in this way and have those swings. Because I mean, if back when they were the primary caregivers for children, you kind of got to be dynamic to deal with kids.
Right.
Especially a bunch of them. You got to be able to, you move. So I think it was a purpose for that, just like it's a purpose for us being the way we are. And when you cleave to one, two become one. It's two different parts.
Listen, that sounds good. It sounds real good, dog. I appreciate you putting that spin on it, man. Oh, yay, dog. Yay. Now, all right. Would it sound like, nah, man. I'm not doing it. And I realize I'm wrong.
Men and women are yin and yang. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, I realize I'm wrong. I realize that. I know you got to roll and move and be versatile with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it just be like, damn, really? It's like DJ Khaled, another one. You know what I'm saying? Just like another one. It's changing again, another one.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize it doesn't matter the woman because they all varying levels of, but they all do the same thing.
And you know what? That's where I came up with when I was trying to find answers, during that 5-year period. And I was looking up like, okay, my wife do this, but she don't do that. But then most women do this. And what I discovered and what I came to is that we all are in a constant battle with ourselves. Yes. We are a constant battle with our nature. So I realized that when she is more stable, she's fighting that nature to be all over the place. And, she winning at that moment. And sometimes she don't win. Just like me, I fight against my internal nature. Sometimes I win. And sometimes I just don't.
Yeah.
And I kind of see this like that. But basically, I guess what he's saying again, don't try to change her. Don't try to figure out why it's happening. Don't try to change her. Don't try to do none of that stuff. Just know that that's just what it is.
Well, I'm fine with the not trying to change them. But the part about it that I'm not fine with is why does the not trying to change them also mean allow them to annoy me? That's the part that I struggle with. I can let you, I don't have any issue letting the person be.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is, men, we actually want to be left to let be.
Mm-hmm.
Women want you to help them get back to letting them be. You know, like they expect you as their, you know, significant other to come in and help them get back to their place of sanity or that place of love. What is it? Open with love or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they put that burden on you as their significant other to help them get back to that burden of love. And I can admit, as a partner, as a significant other, I have failed. I have failed and failed miserably at that particular thing because I'm the king of dismissiveness. I mean, I have to admit, I got too much effort in my system. Like I really, you know, it's like, man, I'm out. Like, you know, I see you over there acting crazy. Hey, you on your own. I got one ask. You know, hey, you all right? And I'm out of there. You know, I'm going on to because whatever mood I'm in, you know, good, bad, indifferent, wherever I'm at that particular moment, I'm not about to let you come in here and mess my mood up or ruin the next 2 hours of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to,
you know,
and I know that's wrong, the wrong attitude
right.
to have going into a relationship, but that's where I be.
And I mean, you know, I get it. But one thing, I guess, what got me with this book, and the more I read it, I'm starting to see this, is solely from our perspective.
Yeah.
It's solely from that. So, yeah, they do stuff, but they don't even talk about them.
Right.
They just talk about us and how to deal with it when it's coming at you. And how that thing flow. So right here. So OG say women are not all the same. Okay.
I beg to differ.
Well, listen to this. I'm going to agree and disagree.
Okay.
And this is how. What's the difference between a Hellcat and a Tesla? They both have 4 wheels.
Mm-hmm.
They both have some propulsion system to move them forward. Both of them pretty fast.
Yeah.
But they're not the same. So what I'm getting to is that at the core, the basic things are the same.
Right.
But when you get to the make and model, that's when they start to get different. But the basic core is still the same. And that goes back to what I said earlier about people fighting against their nature.
Right.
I even verified this with my wife. I was like, you know, sometimes you feel like this, but I know you don't say it. You know, when you ask her, ask your lady, ask your wife, is it stuff that she be wanting to tell you sometimes or she want to do that she keep herself from doing? Because I know you do it. Because I do it. That's us fighting against our nature. Yep. And I guarantee that the stuff we want to say and do amongst us are the same. Yep. It's the same. So the model, the fact that it's a car is the same.
Yeah, people are more alike than they are dissimilar. People are more alike than they are unalike. You know what I'm saying? Men across the board have more in common than they have separate from one another. And women are the same way. Yes, we all have our own individual quirks.
Yeah.
But overall, I think women are pretty much the same. And I think men are pretty much the same. We all pretty much want the same things. We all, you know, there are generalities that are real and do exist.
On a basic level. But when you get into the details, yeah, they real different. They real different when you get, I mean, like I said, man, the Tesla and the Hellcat.
Right.
They both fast cars. They both real fast cars. But they work different. But they all cars. What? The absolute best mansplaining show ever. Man, I'm about to kick you off. I hate that word. I can't stand that word. For real. but that's
funny.
It.
If men say women are all the same, women are like, no. But then they'll say all men are the same. I'll take it that in general, men are similar. And men have a lot of the things that are the same. Also, in general, women are similar. They have a lot of things that are the same.
You know, one thing I do like, and this word, I'm gonna try to do a word count here. How much he used the word love?
Oh, he does it a lot.
A lot.
I think he says, I don't know if it's this chapter or the next, where he says most of your woman's problems only exist because she doesn't feel in love at the moment.
You know what? He did say that. He said the amazing thing is 90% of a woman's emotional problems stem for her from feeling unloved. Don't stand back and analyze her like a doctor diagnosed a patient. Give her love, the same love that's motivating your questioning immediately and unmistakably. Because he talked about that too. Why do you try to fix her situation? Because you love her. Why do you ask those questions? Because you love her. Because if you didn't care about her, you wouldn't do none of that stuff.
Yep.
You would care less. It's like people at work. Okay. You crying. These kids done got on your nerves and now you crying. Oh, okay.
I can't do nothing for you.
They getting on my nerves too, but I ain't crying.
I can't. I don't even want to get into what y'all teachers go through. I don't want no part of it.
Oh, I'm gonna do a live about that soon. Soon we're gonna talk about some of that stuff. That we came up with some good stuff. But you know what? We're gonna help them. We're gonna help them. We're gonna try to fix this thing. And the last thing right here, he said, if you ever find if you ever find yourself asking your woman questions about her mood while she is still in it, you are already on the wrong road. There's so much truth to that. There's so much truth to that. It's like, again, a part of what I do is train people on crisis communication.
Right.
And I also do crisis communication. So when you have a kid or a person in crisis, they're not listening to you. What they're trying to do is get back to neutral and take care of the crisis. They can't hear you. So you got to take care of that need first. Then you can ask the questions. That's why they tell you, all right, breathe, calm down. You got to stop them from using that back part of their brain to shift to the frontal lobe that actually does logical thinking. So pretty much what he's saying, if you find yourself asking questions about that mood while she's still, you asking her why she mad,
She's gonna be mad at you. She's gonna be mad at you. If she wasn't mad at you before, she's gonna be mad at you then.
That's right. So I guess what he's saying, and I know anger is easier to understand, but pretty much he's saying try to fix it first. Don't analyze it. Try to fix it.
Yes, he's saying try to fix it. I think it's important to note how he's saying to fix it, because what our natural instinct as men to do to fix it is not the suggestion he gives. And I know it ain't my natural way.
That's true. Don't solve it, but do it like that. OG said it's all on how you ask the question. But now sometimes they be at a certain spot. They don't feel like talking to you.
Yep.
And they ain't even mad at you or whatever emotion they feeling directed at you. It's just in general. Man, you know. And he said you can't be blunt. My wife blunt though. She don't care. I'm just not. Oh, hey, then AS say at least act like you care. And I mean, it's what is perceived as caring. That's the thing. What is perceived as that.
What's perceived as caring.
Because it's really, honestly, when you trying to make a gesture toward them, is how they perceive it.
Right.
That's the whole, not how we want it to be, but how they perceive it. And when you
can be doing what you think is caring.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it comes off as caring to that person.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to analyze to ask the right question. That's true.
But not in the moment.
Yeah,
you
that's
ask the right question later. According to the book now,
yeah,
it's okay. You analyze, but analyzing ain't gonna fix it. Don't you analyze to ask the right question later, but in that moment, your job, according to the book, is to love her. I believe the term is love her into fullness.
Yeah. Openness.
Openness.
You know, I'm co-signing all of this, what he's saying, because I have to use it every day. I had a boy, all muscle. I mean, this kid muscle. Now I'm like, ooh, now I gotta get my talking game down because I can't be wrestling with these kids. He's still strong and they about my size. But he wanted to fight. He almost got jumped on the bus. Got off the bus, wanted to fight. We got him pulled away. And the whole time, he throwing us off, trying to get back to these people. We telling them, oh, no, don't do that. You get in trouble. You get in trouble. That's all they were saying. You get in trouble. You get suspended. You get all this stuff. He not hearing that. He ain't hearing that at all. What he knows I need to get them. So it wasn't until he calmed down that we could talk to him. And that's why they tell people in schools, and I use this in real life too. You can't pile on punishment on somebody when they in crisis. Like your kid. If your kid acting out, all right, you do this, we ain't going to the park. I don't care. If we keep going, you're going to get this butt cutting. All right, I don't care. All right, I'm going to body slam you, keep on. They not thinking. So don't keep piling it on because you're not doing nothing with that. Now you come up with this long list of punishments for somebody and they was in crisis. All right, so what do you say here? The book is vague to a point, but each individual reacts to a situation different. I'm speaking from experience. Yep.
That's true.
And he is right. You absolutely right. I think he had to write it vague. Because again, I know we just said women are, the same, but when at the granular level, they different.
Yeah.
And because I'm glad we laid out our experience from the beginning. It been almost 2 decades. Me and you neck and neck. All right, man. So, got any last thoughts?
I think the main thing I took from this chapter was sometimes we need to slow down as far as jumping there trying to make figure out a answer or a solution.
Mm.
And sometimes the approach should be just try to make her feel better. Like, don't try to fix the problem. Just try to make her feel better.
Yeah.
Because
so you can get up to that.
Right. I do believe in some cases, most of it is just a cry for attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they just want your attention. The question is, how much of it is the test to see how long you're going to tolerate or deal with or handle or whatever word you want to use that storm she's in.
Yeah.
As you try to make her feel better. I know I have done a poor job at that because I'm not fighting the storm.
And I mean, you know what though? But sometimes, again, I don't know if they have a book like this, but they know when you do certain things, then that kind of snapped them back. Like, okay, I ain't dealing with you. You just walk off. Then they know, oh, shoot. Then they get it back together. So, I mean, I guess we got to know that it's a counterpart to what we talking about. And we ain't the only ones that's just doing stuff.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think we do got to know that. But I think
both sides.
We have to look at it from the point of, have I done everything on my side?
There you go. We got to do a lot, man. That's just what it is.
Right. Have I done everything on my side to try to, I don't even know if the word is resolve, but move through this particular storm, which unfortunately is only just until the next one.
Yeah, because it's going to calm down and it's going to come back again. That's what it is.
Well, we're going on to this chapter 20. I'm pretty sure I know what this one is.
Yeah. And, this one was actually pretty long, and I got a lot of highlights in this thing.
This one here, we might want to roll it over in the next week because of the length of it, or cut it into 2 parts.
I think we should just roll it.
Let's do it, man, because this one is, I can say unequivocally where I have.
He said, never mind. He said, never mind.
I unequivocally have lost this fight. I'm 0 for my lifetime with this.
Oh, for the rest. Huh?
I'm 0 for the lifetime with this one right here.
Whew. Yeah. Yeah. All right, then. I don't think I have the time to say it. Whoo, boy. Yeah.
I'm 0 for my lifetime with this one. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Open it up for him, Doc.
Let's go ahead and do it. Don't suggest that a woman fix her own emotional problem. Now, he ain't saying you got to fix it, but he said don't tell her to fix it. He said asking a woman to analyze or try to fix her own emotions is a negation of her feminine core, which is pure energy and motion like the ocean. She can learn to surrender her mood to God. She can learn to open her heart in the midst of closure. She can learn to relax her edges and trust love, but she will never fix anything by analyzing the problem. I get it. Think about it. She can't fix it, but it's showing her how to deal with it.
Again, I look at it, and I probably look at it too rational as you're a grown person. Figure it out. You a grown adult. You a whole grown adult, man. Figure that thing out, man. Don't come over here with that mess.
But look at this though. You the one still got to deal with it, unless you plan on,
Yeah, and like I said, I know that's my struggle. Because I look at it as I ain't look. You need to figure that out over there. Whatever it is you got going on, that's for you.
I think that this way protect and provide come into play. To me, protect and provide is not just a physical thing. Most people take it as physical, and that's all we talk about: paying the bills or beating somebody up. But that's like somebody about to get deleted.
Yeah,
they get blocked. Yeah, they blocked, so it's all good. Spam.
Yeah, that's what that is.
But I can go on YouTube and fix that. But anyway, protecting and providing can also come in the form of protecting someone from themselves.
Yep.
Providing for their emotional state. Because if we are the ones that's solid, logical, and straight, then why can't we help them be more settled and smooth out that rough ocean? That's a part of the game. That's what I think.
And yeah, I can see that. But like I said before, you have to, one, be capable of doing it, understand how to do it, and two, be willing to.
Yeah, and those you got a big point right there.
Right, and I think I fall short on the willing to, and maybe even on the capable, because like a lot of men, I've always gone with the push that feeling down. I'm moving on. I'm out of there. I'm not about to sit here and be sad, or I'm not about to sit here and be upset. It happened. I'm over it. Let's move on. That's how I've dealt with most things emotionally in my entire life, to a point of a lot of stuff doesn't even register for me the way it registers for other human beings. So I know that about myself, and it's almost odd to me when a person isn't on that same plane. When a person can't do that, like I'm so much on why are you even worried about that? To have to deal with somebody who worries about everything is mind blowing for me.
But knowing how different people are, man, it's like I always tell folks, I think what has gotten me a long way in life, and also in my profession, and also, in the church, is knowing that this is a saying that I have: a drop of water is a big thing to an ant,
Yep.
but a small thing to me. And the people we deal with are like ants. Drop of water is a real big thing to them right then because they can drown.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I just think my years of working with that, it kind of made me sensitive to that. My problem is just, you know, I sign out. I'd be like, all right, man, forget it. And I'll be here, but I ain't here. I'll do that. I will do that. And I will work on that. OG said, but are we solid as we think we are? That's a big one.
I think it depends on the subject matter. I think it depends on what it actually. And some things, for me personally, I'm as solid as they come.
Mm-hmm.
And other things, maybe not as much. But like I say, one of the things I say all the time is any situation, man, my hands don't shake.
Well, think about this though. And this is a lesson, I guess, looking at things around me. Even the strongest thing, when put up under enough stress, pressure, and the elements for
Right.
long enough, will crack.
Yep.
One experience, we were driving back from California and we had to cross the Mississippi River up there on the border of Arkansas and Tennessee. The bridge was out. The reason why the bridge was out is it had a crack in it. That steel had a crack in it.
Yep.
And the bridge had been there forever. Couldn't cross it. But the elements and all the driving back and forth wore it down. So to that, I say that we are solid. But after a while, we start to get fatigued.
Yep.
Like nobody can go 100% all the time. Even emotionally, that thing would drain you.
Yeah.
That's why I try to sit at about 75, 60%. I'm good.
You're doing better than me.
You got to, man. If you don't, you go crazy. But he talked about here is how we deal with problems.
Right.
And he said one of the best way to grow is use those discrimination, feeling what's causing unnecessary pain in your life, then changing what you need to change. You notice you're unhappy with your job. You think about it. You realize that the boss taking advantage of you. So you go walk up to the boss, tell him what's up. It's fixed. And you learn how important it is to talk to your boss, and you clear up all the old stuff that's been burdening you, and it's over. But he says we probably apply the same system to our relationships and intimacy. We realize we're not happy about something the wife is doing. So we run up on her the same way we run up on the boss. And then you say, okay, well, what you want from me?
Right.
I know what I want from you. And what he said here, it seems fair to a man, but it's really not. It's a no-win situation for your woman. Why? Because because what she really wants is a man who can figure it out for himself. I mean, is he lying? We've heard that.
What she really wants is a man that can figure it out for her, for herself, for himself.
Mm-hmm.
What she really wants is a man that knows what she wants without her having to say it.
But look at this next part. As I said, I highlighted a lot in this. One of the deepest feminine desires in intimacy or relationships is to precisely not have to always figure it out for her man and guide him. She wants to be able to trust him in his direction. So she don't want to tell you what's wrong. She wants you to tell her what's wrong.
Yeah.
But you got to be right.
Yeah.
And that's the way she trusts you.
Yeah.
Now, is that way of thinking logical? Not really. That's where they at.
Yeah. And on that note, myself, me, Jeremy Sims, I'm a failure. I can admit that.
Mm-hmm.
I can admit that. Because none of that you said or he said sound reasonable at all to me.
Mm-hmm.
All of it sounds zero reason to me. All of it sounds like jibber jabber. It's like, what? You want me to figure out what you want without communication about, and then with know what's wrong and be right about what you think is wrong. Nah, I'm good.
Okay. I mean, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. That's the difficult pill to swallow. Then he say here, And this is what we hear. If you go on the interwebs and social media, this is what they saying.
Yeah.
You know, um, he gives an example of suppose it's her birthday, and you get your money together, do all the stuff, and you say, okay, we can do anything you want to do today. Tell me what you want to do. I'll do anything. We can go anywhere. What you want to do? She don't want to do that.
No.
She wants you to say, you got 30 minutes to pack your bags. Don't ask me where we'll be going. We'll be going for the weekend. Everything taken care of. Just pack your bags and leave the rest to me. That's what they want.
Fair.
That's what they want.
It's fair. Listen, fair. I have said this before. I have no issue with women wanting what they want. I support women wanting what they want. I also know I'm not the one that can give it to them. That's all.
The Facebook user, I'm not going to say his name,
Give me my thing music.
said, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I gave y'all the clue. I said exactly. And James said, it took me forever to figure that out. But I'm saying, and the thing is, I guess the greatest fear is that you're going to do all this stuff and it ain't going to be right. And you're going to end up trying to navigate that stuff again. So it's easier just to tell me exactly what you want, and I'll give you exactly what you want.
Yeah.
I can't mess up that way.
I tried it before. I tried to plan the weekend thing out before. Dud. It didn't go like I wanted it to go. But hey, like I guess it's better to take a shot than never try at all, I guess, I suppose.
But then this connect to another thing he was talking about before. Remember that chapter he was talking about women are not liars?
Yeah.
And it's how they feel at the moment is a reflection of what's going on. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But yeah, you got to be like hitting on all cylinders for that job to work. Whew, that's rough. but it's true. It is true. Man. And all right, this is why I put a note. Be sure to talk about this. Like the ocean, the native state of the feminine is to flow with great power and no single direction. The masculine builds dams, canals, and boats to unite with the power of the feminine ocean and to go from point A to point B. But the feminine moves in many directions at once. The masculine chooses a single goal and moves in that direction. Like a ship cutting through the vast ocean, the masculine decides on a course and navigates the direction. The feminine energy itself is undirected but immense, like the wind and deep currents of the ocean, ever-changing, beautiful, destructive, and the source of life. They like the ocean.
I agree with that. I can wholeheartedly agree with that. They are definitely ever-changing like the ocean, but they are absolutely a source of life and inspiration and all that good stuff at the same time. I will, just like the ocean can give life or take it away. And
that's right. And he says here, the same principle applies to problems in relationships. Anytime you try to force your woman to be more like a ship than the ocean, you are negating her feminine energy. You can't make her like you.
Right.
You got to let her be her. Yep. And you got to learn how to navigate that like the ship through the water. And it ain't an easy thing, man. It take a long time. Like I said, me and OG done been in the game almost 2 decades. And it's still.
Yeah, sometimes I think I'm just going to hang out on land. Yeah. I might just go for a swim every now and then and get out. I ain't going to try to stay out there no long time. That ain't working out too good. So I'm just going to just do like quick dives and come on back in. I ain't taking no voyages across the Atlantic no more. That's over with.
Man, yeah, that's rough, man. He said here, asking her to analyze her emotions is like building walls around a part of the ocean and turning it into a swimming pool. And yeah, we that's her treating women like men. And then he draw a parallel here, and he says it would be like forcing you, a man, to read romance novels or watch love stories at the movies. Sure, you could do it, but you won't like it.
Right.
And if she made you do it over and over and over, you would begin to resent her.
Yep.
You would be mad about it. So I like how he draw those parallels. So that's it. Hey, don't let one or two stop your happiness, Jay.
I'm happy at all times. I'm a happy person. Ain't nothing stop my happiness, man.
Internal motivation, huh?
I'm happy at all times. I think that's like, well, ain't even happy. I'm in a good place all the time. Like even when something is hard and messed up in my face, like I'm one of the people that can snap back and get back to a good spot so easy. Like that's stuff. And honestly, part of my problem probably is I don't let stuff affect me enough. I don't have the emotional IQ to understand.
You know what I mean.
I don't have the emotional IQ to get into it with a lot of stuff.
Man, but honestly, man, that stuff take practice.
Yeah.
It take practice. You just got to actively do it. And I think that's the message that this book is getting across to me, that you just can't let life happen to you, but you have to happen to life. We do that in our professional.
You can't just sit in the ocean. You got to navigate. You got to do some things. You got to put the sails up. You got to steer the boat. You got to do some things. You can't just be out there in it. You got to do something now.
It sounds like who that Machiavelli said that out of the 48 Laws of Power about there's remember the quote from the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
And he said that there are evil people, pretty much evil people everywhere that's utilizing that stuff. So you need to.
So you need to know. Yeah.
Know.
Or when it says the man that doesn't think he's playing a game of power.
Yes. That's it. That's it. Matter of fact, I'm about to pull it up because I had loved that quote. It was like the best thing ever. To me, that's the one that hit. He said, I'm gonna pull it up because we got to know.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Where he's like, you could act
here
like
it is.
Yeah, here it is. Go ahead with it.
Any man who tries to be good all the time is bound to come to ruin among the great number who are not good. Hence, the prince who wants to keep his authority must learn how not to be good and use that knowledge or refrain from using it as necessity requires. Can't be, you got to know about it.
You got to know.
And that's what he's saying. And you got to know about it.
You got to know about it, and you have to be able to apply it when necessary.
And honestly, man, we about to the end of this chat. I mean, we could have went deeper into it, but this is pretty good. He says, the masculine priority is purpose and direction. But by analyzing your purpose and realigning your direction, you can solve many of your emotional problems. But love is a feminine priority, not purpose and direction. They need more of that. They need more of that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, when we talked about love, you talk about love a lot. And here's the last part. Well, two more things. He said the best way you can serve your woman is by helping her to surrender, to trust the force of love so that she can open her heart and be the love she is and give this love which naturally overflows from her happiness.
Yep.
Not make her happy, but know that she can find that happiness within herself.
Right.
And not hold it back. Not walk around being mean all the time, or at least looking mean. Some people do that on purpose.
Yeah.
They call it RBF. And I think RBF is not, some people born with it. Not that many. I think a lot of people do it on purpose.
Well, I think for some people it's a defense mechanism to keep people out their face. And understandable. At certain times in environments you don't want to be disturbed. I can absolutely understand it from a female's perspective because sometimes you just want to keep people out your damn face because you're trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand that. But on a note of a relationship,
When you come home. Mm-hmm.
you know, on a note of a relationship, as men, we have to not have RBF or whatever. We have to
Yep.
not just be in this one zone and one
Mm-hmm.
look and one demeanor and real, like you said, you have to engage her. And what did you say? Get involved in
Yes. Her moods. Get
her moves.
involved in the moods.
Right.
And here at the end, he said, let her be the ocean. Encourage her to be free as the ocean, as deep as the ocean, as wild as the ocean, as powerful as the ocean. So encourage her to be who she is and don't try to make her turn into you,
Right.
but learn how to navigate that. Because once you start navigating it the right way, then that ocean kind of smooth out. You can change behaviors just by navigating it the right way. You
Yep.
can do all kinds of stuff. So I guess we don't realize the amount of control that we have, the amount of influence, I'll say influence that we have.
Right.
And we can influence that in a good way and a bad way.
Yes, we
And
can.
some of us don't even know we hold that power and we don't even use it.
Yep.
You just sit there and be mad all day and
Done
being
that before.
resentful.
Done that before. I done sat there and been mad all day about
Yeah.
something I could have easily changed.
We all, man, you ain't the only one. We all done been there and done that plenty times. Plenty. So, well, bro, I guess we did make it through 20.
Yeah, we made it through, man. Look, man, look. I just want to tell everybody, man, this book right here, like you said, is written to give men some tools to navigate this system. We understand it's a give and take. And like you said earlier, is another side of that where women have to give us some understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So when we make these steps towards, trying to be involved in their moves and all that kind of stuff, you have to be with a woman that recognizes and appreciates that and tries to meet you some of the way for these things to work. Because if it's going to get to a point where you're going to get beat down by it or be broken by it when you never feel they trying to meet you back the other way. I think that's really what beat people down is when they feel like they're trying to get to a certain point and the other person ain't meeting them. And that's both ways. Women sometimes, I'm sure, when they're dealing with us, like, I'm trying to meet him, but he won't even reach back out.
Yeah. And that's true. My wife do that a lot. Right. She do it a whole lot.
So it's just, it's just one of those things, man. It's going to be, and like you said, it's going to be constantly changing, constant tests. And like you said, you had to make that decision. This is who I'm going to be with.
Mm-hmm. I chose her.
I chose her. And I'm going to, whatever it is, I'm going to fight on through it.
Because this could be times where she feeling the same way about me.
Right. So I salute and I send a shout out to all the ladies and gentlemen who've been in these 10, 12, 20 plus relationships and making it work and making it happen. I know it's hard. I admire y'all. I respect y'all and keep doing what you're doing.
There you go. So, all right, before you give us the final words, listen, y'all, tomorrow at 8:00.
Yes, sir.
The Nerd Show, until I think of a better name, is back again. We're going to have a mini watch party, and then we're going to talk about how to fix Dragon Ball. Ooh. And then how to fix it.
Got one word on how to fix Dragon Ball, but we'll come back to it.
We're going to talk about how to fix it because they done wrote themselves in a corner.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about that. And if the conversation leads some other ways, because I got some members that have been blowing me up this week talking about Bleach. We might talk about Bleach. Love that show. Also, Keep the Nerd Show. Yep, there we go. Yep. Keep the Nerd Show. All right, then we're going to keep that. But we're going to talk about that. I got some gaming stuff coming up. We're going to talk about that too. Not tomorrow, but I'm going to save that for another day. So Y'all come back tomorrow about 8 if you want to know about that stuff. You even think about getting into some anime or something like that. We're going to talk about it. Because the watch party, what I got set for us to watch tomorrow is only about 10 minutes. But whew,
There it is.
you got to come.
And you gonna do something Saturday, Doc? Because I know I gotta work this weekend. You gonna do something Saturday?
I don't know. I'll let them know tomorrow.
All right. Anyway, man, we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of the Book of Man. Getting further and deeper into this book, man, trying to help men be the superior man that we all want to be. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all joining us tonight. Thank you for coming out. Salute out to all the OGs of the marriage game, men and women. See y'all tomorrow. See y'all next time. We love you. Good night.
Peace.